Yeah, it's been the biggest year for M&A, both globally in across all the sectors and also definitely within the healthcare space. I mean, we saw the biggest healthcare acquisition ever announced earlier in November, and this was, of course, Pfizer and Allergan.
Yeah, for the first 9 months of the year, so not even including Pfizer's Allergan deal, we had 268 different pharmaceutical deals that were done for $231 billion in value. So, just you throw the 160 billion on top of that for the Pfizer bid for Allergan, and you're talking about $500 million in deals in the pharmaceutical industry alone.
Yeah, and Pfizer had been in a bunch of talks recently regarding M&A. I mean, there was the failed bid for AstraZeneca. There was they bought Hospira back in February, and I think that's kind of a more interesting story than the Allergan deal, even though it was way smaller, only 17 billion only.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this deal for Allergan is huge, right? I mean, 160 billion, right? And but a lot of that deal benefit, you could argue, is because of the tax inversion component of it, meaning that you're going to move your headquarters on paper at least out of the U.S. in order to save on taxes. And I think that the projection, that that the company offered out there is that their tax rate will fall to about 17 to 18%, down from 24.5%. Now, Allergan obviously has Botox and other drugs that are, single digit plus growers. But I don't think that I tend to favor the Hospira deal because I think that could actually be more transformative over time, solely because the Hospira deal gets them now into a leadership position in what's the burgeoning, brand new, nascent market of biosimilars, which are for lack of a better term, the generic equivalent of a lot of these high-priced biologic drugs that dominate healthcare spending today.
Yeah, I mean, this is an enormous story, the boom of biosimilars. And actually, one of the things that we highlighted in that Market Foolery episode earlier this week, because this could really be transformative for the entire healthcare space. I mean, you've got about $100 billion of biologic medicines that are slated to lose their patent protection in the next 5 years. Pfizer itself is saying that the addressable market for biosimilars should climb from 3 billion this year all the way to 20 billion in the year 2020. So in buying Hospira, it gets its foot really firmly in the door of this important market. And at the time of the deal, about 68% of Hospira's sales were coming from specialty medicines, but that's because the biosimilar part has just started to take off.
Yeah, biosimilars have been available in overseas markets in Europe for years, but the FDA has been slow to embrace them because there really wasn't, a clear pathway that was established to say, okay, if a drug isn't exactly the same, can we still approve it and call it a generic? Biologic drugs are created in living organisms, so it's virtually impossible to precisely duplicate them. So once healthcare reform came in and a pathway was established, the floodgates, if you will, are set to open. And the first of biosimilar to be approved in the US happened already this year. It was a drug from Novartis. And many more are coming, especially with high profile patent expirations about to happen. For example, the Humira, the top selling autoimmune disease drug at AbbVie, set to lose patent protection at the end of 2016.